It's time for the Ravagers to rise once again to glory!
You are listening to The Ravager Report, a Fox Next Marvel Strike Force podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, information, and updates. With your hosts, Dorian.
It is a name what strikes fear into the hearts of anyone what hears it!
And Hebrew Hammer.
I'm been popping, y'all!
Hello and welcome to episode 23 of The Ravager Report. I am your host, Dorian, and with me as always is the Honorable Hebrew Hammer. Hebrew, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So, before we get started, I do want to say it is March 1st. And since it is March 1st, I want to give a great big shout out to all our patrons that have stuck with us for yet another month. Don't know how you guys do it, but you do, and we love you for it.
That's right.
So before we get started, I want to give a brief rundown of all our patrons. We have Alex, Andrew, Anthony, BMZR, Brock, Bruce, Gareth, Jay, Justin, Chris, Kyriakos, Lamon, Lunchbox, Michael, Mike, Nikosi, Ryan, Sean, Sky, Squirrel Girl, Sinister, and Evan. So thank you all of you that continue to support the show. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this every week. You help, keep us on the air and keep us going and allow us to do upgrades and everything that we need to bring you the highest quality show possible. And a big thank you to Della, who during the show last week upped his pledge to help us out. So thank you guys. Unfortunately, we don't have any new patrons to announce this week, but if you do like what you hear and would like to help support the show, please feel free to join us at patreon.com/Ravager Report, where we have subscriptions starting at $2 all the way up to $20. And starting at the $5 subscription level, you do get early access to show notes, as well as you get the show released early. And that is the uncut, unedited version. So basically what happens is right after the show is done, I throw it into MP3 format, I post it for the patrons, and you guys can access it almost immediately. So if you're not able to hear the show live, but still want to get that early access, you have that. At the $20 level, we are going to start doing quarterly roster reviews for those that want them. And so... and also, we are going to be having some merch coming out this month, I believe, isn't it, Hebrew?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to have that out soon.
Yeah, and so for continued patronage, we're going to have free merch for people starting at the $10 level. So maybe even going down to some of the lower tiers, but obviously that would be longer, subscription requirements. So... we have yet to work out the final numbers on that, but do know that we have T-shirts and we're looking at coffee mugs, and we might be able to do a few other things as well. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please join our Discord at discord.me/Ravager Report. And we do have a comments and feedback channel for you guys to post what you would like to see changed about the show. Or if you just want to, like everybody else, tell us how great of a job we do and keep doing it. We appreciate that too.
I don't know how you said that with a straight face.
I did say it with a straight face. Sometimes I can play the straight man really well. Sometimes. So Hebrew, before we get into the show and kind of dive into everything, why don't you let everybody know how your week went?
So my week went fairly well. Man, I always sound so boring whenever this happens because I can't think of anything on the spot that I did special. But I suppose the biggest thing, I'll just cut right to in-game stuff. I got all of my Kree up to level 70, so that was fun. I also got a rejection notice from Fox Next to not roll back my progress on Vision. So, that's apparently...
You really asked them to roll back the progress on Vision?
Yes, I actually told them that they wouldn't even need to give me the resources back. I just wanted them back to level 1. So they told me no, and I'm sure that they were very confused whenever I said that. But so that happened. I upgraded a few of the T4 abilities on my Kree, so that was fun. And
that is literally what I did.
yeah, sorry, Dorian just posted a meme in our studio audience for his comment on that. But yeah, so that was pretty much it for me this week as far as the big stuff that we're not going to be talking about later is concerned. Fat Honey Badger wants to know which T4s I did. I invested in Noble's passive for that T4. That was my first one because in this very debuff heavy meta that we're in, that is incredibly nice to have. So, yeah, there's that. And then I also did the regeneration on Oracle's special, but I wanted the double regeneration because I'm not going to be able to get Minerva up very high at all. So I'm going to have to be using him since I already have him up to 7 stars, and I have, I believe, 3 red stars on him. So he's just too good to really sub out right now. Later on down the road, I'm sure I'm going to regret that, but in the meantime, it's going to be very good. So, and then after that, I'm out of my my T4s. So I'm going to have to wait for a while. But that's pretty much it for me. If I think of anything that I did outside that's unique, I'll add in. But what about you?
Wow. So yeah, I've almost forgot that we finished the raid season and everything. So I get the T4 ability mats for that. Plus I got, I was able to finally do the tier 7 of the block party. So that was a nice extra like 200 T4 ability mats. Which I'm still waiting to apply. I haven't decided who I'm going to do yet, but I did apply my raid season rewards and got, I did Jessica's Shake It Off, so that now she removes all debuffs from all allies. Because, oof, that's just insane.
Yep.
In fact, that T4 ability, if you run a Defenders team, you're still trying to figure out what ability mats to upgrade first. With as debuff heavy of a meta we're in right now, I would say that ability is probably the second, or maybe the second, maybe the third most important ability that you can get to T4. I still say if you run Punishers is probably still probably the best because it's a guaranteed assist on non-attacks. And the defenders do a lot of non-attacks. Yeah. And Daredevil's speed boost is always really nice as well. So, yeah, I gotta say that those are the ones I really like. Iron Fist is really good, but the depends on which one you're looking for. I love the alt. That 700% damage is sweet.
That's true.
But I would still do Jessica's Shake It Off before I did that. So,
oh yeah, Iron Fist's passive is definitely
Iron Fist passive is believe it or not, I want to say I have not done that one yet. Let me see.
Really? Wow, I'm very surprised at that.
Yeah, so Iron Fist's passive only increases the percentage chance to heal. It doesn't do any other bonus to it. So it's only 10% chance to heal. So it takes it to like 40%. So I'm like, between 30 and 40, meh. It's just not as big a thing for me.
Well, it's plus 10% on the healing as well.
No, it's a plus 10% chance. Oh, plus 10% healing. So it's a 10% chance to heal self and allies, right. And then a 10% plus 10% healing. So if it triggers off, you're going to get 20%. But
which does happen quite a bit.
It does happen quite a bit.
It's a good passive.
It does. It is a very good passive. I don't know if, as Shallister says, if I would call it the best defender ability, but it's definitely up there. I mean, honestly, there are so many good T4 abilities on the defenders team that I don't think you could go wrong on really any of them. So,
yep.
So there was that. I decided to open my 5 red stars this week, even though knowing Kingpin had the double drop chance, and I did hit a Kingpin, not gonna lie. which we'll get to. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But rather spectacular happened. I got a 5-star Ronin, so that was really, really nice. And my Ronin is now over 40K, even though he is only sitting at tier 9, almost tier 10. So my first Kree T4 ability I'm waffling on. I'm almost tempted to give it to Ronin special for the guaranteed minion drops. Because getting either the 2 nobles, the 2 reapers, or the noble and reaper, it's really nice. And with those 5 red stars, they're gonna hit pretty good. So
I would still say that I think personally the best one is Noble's passive.
Noble's passive is good.
Right now.
Oracle's is really good. Believe it or not, Royal Guards is really good. I wish it was guaranteed energy, but even a 75% chance per turn is really nice.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that like it's already at a fairly good. It's not terrible if you're going to keep him, but I still am kind of waffling on him. But I think it's already pretty high as is. So
yeah, I see that, and I kind of waffle on that too. I'm not sure if I want to stick with Royal Guard or Thanos. I'll be honest, Royal Guard may have more survivability. Thanos feels, I don't know what it is about Thanos.
His lack of armor.
Yeah, I mean, he just feels like he's paper thin. He's got a lot of health, but he's paper thin. Plus, my Royal Guard happens to have. Hold on, I gotta filter. I gotta filter by the Kree here.
Has some red stars on him, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's got 2 red stars.
No, okay.
And he's a 7-star. He's only tier 7. He's 25,000 power. But his armor is kind of impressive. I mean, he's already
his armor's
4K,
very good. His
4K.
very good.
So and I just increased his Royal Guard to level 4, so he gets 15% plus 5% per Kree ally. So he's gonna take some hits. I mean, quite frankly, he's gonna. I mean, he's sitting about what 45K armor right now, or 4.5K. Sorry. 4.5K.
Yeah, with me, and now that we both had some time to mess around with the team a good bit, I still just I can't really decide what I want to do, because I feel like Thanos' kit is better for that team overall.
Well, yeah, because of the energy, right? So
right.
I tried,
and taunt, like the quick taunts as well. Yeah.
You know what? We'll get into the Kree a bit more. We'll discuss the Kree work maybe a little bit later in the show.
Right.
I don't want to get too sidetracked.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, let's see. What else? So I got the 5-star Ronin, right? And then today, finally, I completed the second run of Dark Dimension. Very nice.
Done. Congratulations.
It is done. I was sitting out Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah, that's right.
It's 10:30 at night. People in my family are asleep. I got kids sleeping over, friends, or my son. I'm not going to get too loud. So, but yeah, no, I sent out the Ric Flair. Woo! It's over, done, and I am now sitting at Jessica, Daredevil, and Punisher are all one piece away from being T13.
Right.
So that's all. That's all good there.
Right.
In response to Valhammer, and I don't want to respond to too many comments. Sorry, guys, but Miss Marvel passive is excellent. I don't run her that off frequently with the Defenders, though, but that's probably because I have a 7-star Punisher versus like a 6-star or 5 or 6-star Miss Marvel. So I do think Miss Marvel's passive is great, but I honestly don't run her with the Defenders like anywhere. She's kind of a blitz player for me right now. So
yeah, I would. That's a great team, but yeah, I also am not currently in the position to really run that team anything beyond blitz. But man, that team, I really can't wait till Okoye comes out, because I can't wait to make an amazing brawler team.
Yeah,
with her. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, and throwing in what's her face, Captain Marvel in there too. Oh, I'm super excited.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just had to say that. We probably should get past this point.
Yes, we should. So, yeah, that's pretty much been what I've been doing in game this week. So, it's actually been a really good week.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say in game, it's been really, really good. My career coming along well. I've got Ronin, Royal Guard, and Oracle are all 7-star. Cyborg and Noble are on. The Cyborg is close to being 6. Noble's about 80 away. Reaper's the hard farm, though. Reaper's such the hard farm.
For me, it was actually easier than Noble.
Really?
For some reason, Noble would just not drop for me. Reaper, I got up fairly easy.
See, I'm getting like 4 to 6 Reaper drop or Noble drops. So Noble seems to be dropping much better than Reaper for me.
I have heard just in general, Reaper drops less for people. So, I think it's just my weird luck. Just it inverted the situation somehow.
Yeah. So,
which actually makes sense because Reaper is the one that you're typically going to leave out,
right?
So, it's giving me of that person.
Yeah, I gotta be careful. I'm getting distracted by chat because I want to reply to people.
It's not me this time. It's you.
No, it is me, and I've been working so much better at it. So I think we're just going to cover it up. Normally, I work with it with like the show notes covering it. So, and I check every once in a while. So, all right. Well, then, before we kind of dive into the meat of the show, let's do our fun news segment, which is our poll. So every week we have started releasing a poll, and you can find it on. I try to post it everywhere: Reddit, some of the other MSF Discords, and obviously our Discord, which is going to be the most convenient way to get it. So this week was a little bit of a longer poll because we got kind of a bit of information from Fox Next. Plus, there was a lot of stuff that happened this week. So let's dive right in, shall we? So, what did you think of the Minerva campaign? And so this was on a linear, on a scale 1 to 5, with 1 being I hated it, 5 being I loved it. And Heber, where'd you come in on this?
I believe I put a 4 because I did like it. It had a little bit of a rough start with the the might drop, might not kind of situation. But since they fixed that, I do like that a lot better. But yeah, I feel like there's always room for improvement in these kinds of things because it's very kind of gets a little repetitive. But that's the nature of the beast, I suppose. So I put a 4.
Yeah, I also put a 4. I waffled between a 4 and a 5 because I actually did it with my Kree team. So I just felt it would be more fun doing it, even though they weren't geared up super well.
Yeah.
But they were able to kind of go through that with the Minerva and Captain Marvel that they gave us.
Yeah, same.
I did not have the 5-star Ronin at that time, the 5 red-star Ronin. So I thought the campaign was relatively well balanced. And so, but a majority of the community did not agree with us. So
Really?
we did get 83 total responses, so 81 subtracting yours and mine.
Right.
So yeah, 38 people, so 45.8% actually loved it. 35% agreed with us, and then the rest was 17% gave it a 3, and then 2 people gave it a 1 and a 2, or 1 person apiece, I should say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that I agree with the overall sentiment here that the campaign was really well done. But now we get into the opposite, where what do you think of the Star Force orbs not guaranteeing Minerva shards? And I ask this because we've seen this become the trend, right? It started with War Machine, where you're not going to get just War Machine shards. And they're continuing that trend with, up through Minerva, where she's got an increased drop rate. I want to say, it's 50% chance to drop Minerva shards?
I think it's 75% chance overall.
Is it 75% chance overall?
Yeah.
I honestly didn't pay attention because I just know that Fox Next struggles with math. So
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I calculated it out to be about there's a 25% chance that you're going to get a drop level that might not have Minerva. Does that make sense?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So 75% of the time you should be pulling Minerva, basically.
And honestly, I have. Where's your Minerva right now?
She is sitting pretty at a number that I'm about to tell you right now. 38 out of 55.
I've been a little bit luckier than you. I'm sitting at 48 of 55.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
to the surprise of no one.
Right, exactly. So that's not bad for
No,
sure.
it's not horrible. I mean, I'm not.
We still have 12 days left, pretty much.
Do have 12 days left. I should comfortably get her 3 stars. I'm not getting her to 4 stars, and I refuse to pay the 50 energy to get basically 5 tries, whatever, like 700 fragments. It's just not cost effective. But so Hebrew, what did you think of the Star Force orbs not guaranteeing Minerva shards on the 1 to 5 scale? With 1 being you hated it, 5 being you loved it.
So I think I put a 3 for this, and the reason why is either 2 or 3. But the reasoning why was kind of a selfish reason. I still need Kree, like everyone in general, besides what's his name, the guy that I always forget the name of.
Oracle.
Nope.
Royal Guard.
Nope. It's the named one.
Cyborg.
Korath.
Ronan. Korath.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't need Korath, but the rest of them I still need. So I was like, okay, like even if I don't get Minerva, it's not terrible, but I would still definitely prefer it to always be Minerva. But I knew that they were going to do this, so I kind of had prepared myself. As I said last time, whenever this happened, I was like, whenever they try something new like this, that's a little sketchy, like they're going to lean into it on the next time because they're basically getting us ready for it, seeing how we take it.
Because nothing if not persistent with their crappiness.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
And I'm not being negative. I'm just kind of being real.
Yeah, I will say though, I was very happy that they changed the drop rate back to 100% after we complained about it. So that was very nice, and I do appreciate them doing that.
Absolutely, kudos to you guys.
Yeah, because the triple RNG thing compounded was just too much.
Yeah, and that's not all the love we're going to give Fox Next tonight. So stay tuned.
Yep, that's true. But yeah, so that was my ranking on it.
I think I put a 1. I'm pretty sure I put a 1 here.
Still a little sour about that?
Well, so I've got Ronan, Oracle, and one other one, Royal Guard, all at 7 star. Mm-hmm. So I'm when I miss Minerva, I'm not super happy, right?
Right.
Because I could care less about 6 shards of noble. That's a day of farming. I'd rather get the non-farmable character.
Right.
So but this was the community response was split pretty equally here. The most people responded with a 1 at 31%, 26 total people. I was probably one of those. 24 or 25 at 3 for 29.8%, and then 24 at 2 for a 28.6%, and then a total of 9 people, 7 at 4 and 2 at 5. So overall, I mean, the community is, especially when you think of the fact that I think you can buy these for cores. It's I don't know. If you have a named character event, you should probably be able to get just the named character. But I think you can still get the Genie orb.
Right.
Which mitigates it a bit, because you can drop actually I take that back. There's no way to get the Genie fragments right now. You can only do the Star Force orb.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think you have to buy the Genie fragments from the store, which are currently going for. Oh, I don't see them in the offers. Of course not. So yeah. it's just a way to so the only way right now is to spend cores on the event to get the fragments. At least it's now a guaranteed drop rate. But then you're under this double RNG system. It's just, and then there's a chance you won't get her. So you could spend money to not get the character you're buying. It's just I don't like it. I don't like these types of things. We've rehashed that, so I'm not going to go into that again. So our next question I was
was going to say I do feel like if you throw down I'm so sorry. All right, if you throw down cores for this one, if you core out on this one, I do think even with all things considered that you're probably going to land on at the end of the event probably 4 stars.
Yeah, unless you really core out. Really core out.
Yeah, this is just assuming the 50 refreshes. If you really go, who's telling where you're going to end up depending on if you core past that. But
right.
If you use all your 50s, I would imagine you're probably going to land on 4, maybe 5 if you get luckier.
Right.
So which still isn't bad overall. I can stand by that.
No, I'd love to hit 4. I don't think it'll happen. I'll probably get solidly halfway between. But
yeah. If I had the cores, I would be coring out on this event for the 50s. I would be doing that.
Yeah, see, I use my cores every day for energy.
I'm running at a constant 0, so
I'm actually getting enough that I can do my 4 buys of energy every day.
Well, yeah, same, but that's about it.
But yeah, so let's see. Next question was: are you looking forward to the Captain Marvel event? Hebrew, are you looking forward to that?
I put a 3 on this because
there's no 3. It's a yes or no.
Oh, okay. I thought this was a number. So
no,
I guess
we are out. Okay, just so I'll save you any future embarrassment. Until we get much later, there are no more linear scales.
Okay. Well, then, if it was a number, I'd put a 3. But for this, I probably put a no, just because I'm in the situation right now where I'm just kind of wanting to see how the milestone. We don't know how 100% how they're going to be released, but we're thinking that's going to be the milestones based on data mines, which we'll get into later. But I'm just really not sure how difficult it's going to be, or how long of a process it's going to be, or if it's going to be pay to win or not. So I'm reserving judgment, but I have a feeling it's not going to be something that I particularly like. So I went ahead and put a safe no on this one. But
okay.
But yeah.
I actually put a yes because I like the milestone event release style. But it's going to be, I want to see more information because we don't really know a whole lot. Like you said, it's only really been data mined. Now, obviously, we know that everybody in the community is going to get Captain Marvel. I have questions about that. We'll address that a little bit later. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, we know that these types of events are meant to be pay to win at first, which is fine. It's just depending on the cost. How much of a gouging is it going to take, and I have to run the numbers on that.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's something I need to start doing. I need to start running a cost analysis based on like how much you get per orb and the chance drops per, to really kind of get that line of how much typically you would need to spend to get a character to say 7 stars on a new event.
Yeah,
that actually would be interesting math. Thanks for encouraging me for that.
You're welcome.
But so I actually put a yes now, which 91.7% of the community agreed with. So 77 people, and a whopping 7 people said no. So congratulations, you are in the major minority.
Let me just go ahead and say I did put an asterisk next to mine. Like I'm being reserved about it. So that it sounds like actually you and I have the same fears, but I put a just safe no,
right?
And you put a yeah, sure, which is absolutely fair. I mean,
oh yeah, both answers
I'm
honestly
about her coming out, so.
Right? It's all about your optimism. So,
exactly.
And now to be fair, I did do this after reading the dev blog, so that obviously changes things. So
yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Next question was, do you think Captain Marvel will be attainable through another method? So the possible answers were yes, no, maybe, only through a $49.99 offer for 45 shards, or yes, but only for the whaliest of whales.
I don't remember what I put for this one. Yeah, I don't remember, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a combination of those. I think that there might be offers, but I'm sure that to really get her up high, you're probably going to need to be the whaliest of whales.
Yeah.
But I think that, yeah, we're going to be seeing her in the milestone kind of release from what we've seen in the data mine so far, which I'm interested in. I will say that as a positive. I do like them trying out new styles of releases. I just hope that it's not going to be too difficult to get. Like, I don't want it to be a Hulk situation where we have to wait an incredibly long time to get our hands on her, and then by the time we do, she's going to be out of meta. Like, that's not what I want. So,
Well, thankfully
it's
they
just
said
how,
milestones, not achievements.
yeah, that's true. But you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yes.
timeline wise, I don't know how long it's going to be.
Right.
So, because it looks like from the data mine, it's going to be like a long scale situation. But we'll just have to see. I am kind of excited about it, but I'm just I'm trying to be grounded about it.
Right. Well, so we do know, obviously, that Captain Marvel is going to be free to everybody for 14 days. And that we are going to have the milestones on time. It was supposedly, obviously, it's a data mine. Again, take it with a grain of salt. They may change that now that she was the chosen character. But I said yes, she'll be available through another method. How that looks, I really don't know. 26 respondents agreed with me for 31%. The next highest was 23 people with the $49.99 offer at 27.4. 18 said maybe. 12 said yes, but only for the whaliest of whales, and 5 people said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there she'll be obtainable. How that comes, I don't know, because they're not going to not make money on it. So
yeah.
Let's see. Next is, would you buy a Captain Marvel offer if it's available? Yes or no?
Mine was a hard no on that because I don't buy anymore.
Yeah, 65 people. Well, I'm sorry, 63 people agreed with it. 65 total said no for 77.4%. 19 people said yes, a solid 22.6.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. So, if you remember, and we're going to talk about this in the news, Fox Next had an issue with the alpha rate after the 2.4 update, but they did release a mail granting you the do good. So, do you think that Fox Next did enough to reward for the alpha raid mix up? Yes or no?
No, just because there's a lot of people that, and I hold nothing against these people. I think that it was the smart move to do this. I just wish I knew about it sooner. But there's a lot of people that didn't message anything to Fox Next about how they aren't getting what was intended because they knew it was a visual glitch and it was going to be fixed or whatever, which is what I did. I didn't message in anything, but so we missed out on a lot that a lot of other people ended up getting from support, and then they got this on top of it.
Sheepishly raise his hand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but that's fine. Like, I would have done the same thing if I would have known earlier.
Like,
you
twice.
were the one that illuminated me on that.
Like, twice
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, so, and there's people that did it even more.
Well,
so,
I tried the third time. They were like, nope, we're going to have a fix coming out soon.
Yeah, exactly. At some point, it finally caught up with support to stop doing that because people were getting a lot of free stuff. But which is totally fair, and I honestly support anytime that you can do that. I fully support it because this game can jip you enough sometimes as it is. So I just want to make sure everyone knows I'm not saying you did the wrong thing here, not at all. But yeah, so I feel like overall it ended up being a kind of situation where the people that chimed in on that ahead of time and message support ended up coming out with a lot more overall than the people that didn't. So. That's just my thought on it. But what about you?
I thought they did good. I thought they did. And again, I'm coming at it from the perspective of somebody who saw it immediately and was like, somebody in my alliance saw it, and I was like, okay, they said they sent in the ticket. I sent in the ticket. So I thought that they did good, giving something to everybody at least.
I do agree with that. Yeah, they at least put out a general something. Yeah.
And I think that, it looked like people were getting different amounts. So I think they kind of knew the difference of what you were I think they actually did some math on it, and they knew what you were doing.
I didn't hear that, but if they did that, I think I'd be happier with it. I wish that they would have taken into account who messaged in, but that's too micro for them.
That is really micro. That's a really micro thing to do. The return on investment of doing that's just horrible.
Right.
Sorry, I promised to try not to mention ROI. But 45 people agreed with you for 55.4%, and 36 people agreed with me at a 44.6%.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now we're going to start getting into Alliance Wars. So, Hebrew, are you excited about Alliance Wars? Yes, no, or maybe?
I think I put a maybe on this one. Yeah,
okay.
I think I put a maybe because I'm just I'm unsure about the situation. The biggest thing for me is the time that we saw that we'd have to put in extra. I still laugh about how casually they threw around that number.
Well, it's just
of like,
an hour
for the
a day.
days it's active, just an extra hour a day. No,
whoa. You got to read that line a little bit more in depth because I read that again today for reasons I can't go into. But I read that more today, and they said an hour after people get used to and comfortable with playing the game mode.
Oh yeah, so it might even be more.
It's going to be more to start with. So
yeah, I kind of remember that. So you're right, and so I'm just kind of overall, without going too much into it, I'm just concerned about how much extra time it's going to add to the game. So I put a maybe on that, but I am glad that my alliance is going to have another thing to do that will hopefully be fun and kind of add to the enjoyment of the game rather than take it away. So yeah, I'm kind of once again in a spot where I'm just kind of sitting back and watching what happens.
Yeah, I actually put a no.
There.
Just I've got reasons. I've got reasons. 36 people agreed with you though, with their maybe. So they're kind of holding that, waiting and see. Sounds like for about 44%. 33% or 33 people said yes for 39.3%, and then 13 other people agreed with me that Alliance Wars, oof. So my grammar was very bad here. I said which about Alliance Wars are you most looking forward to? So working with my alliance to kick butt, being able to show off my roster, the strategy component, the rewards, or I'm not looking forward to Alliance Wars. So, Hebrew, which of those 5 options did you pick?
Same one more time.
Working with my alliance to kick butt, being able to show off my roster, the strategy component, the rewards, or I'm not looking forward to Alliance Wars.
So I believe it was the first one, looking forward to kicking some butt with my alliance, because I've kind of mentioned this before. I like the idea of my teammates having to actually come together and doing something strategic again. But that, once again, that kind of depends on how this mode works out. We'll just have to see. But hopefully it'll be something that I'm going to be very happy to be playing with my alliance. That's the optimistic outlook, I feel like, though.
I think that's a fair optimistic outlook. I can tell you that that was not the most popular choice. The most popular choice was the rewards, with 31 people at 36.9%. The second was the strategy component with 20 people for 23.8%. Yours came in third at 19 people. So 18 people agreed with you for 22.6%. 8 people agreed with me because I'm not looking forward to Alliance Wars. 7 agreed with me for a total of 9.5%. And then 6 people just want to be able to show off their rosters.
That's awesome.
I love you, narcissists. You guys are the greatest.
It is a collection game, after all.
It is a collection game. And what's the point of having a collection if you can't show it off? Exactly. Black market. Could be black market. Now we get into a little bit more of the general game stuff that we've been teased with recently. So, Hebrew, are you looking forward to the upcoming level increase? Yes, no, or maybe?
I am. Yes, I put a straight yes on this. I know it's probably, I guess we'll find out. I think it's the uncommon decision to say yes on that. But Yeah, I think that it's needed, and I would rather, I'm probably going to fall a little bit more behind in arena, but you know what? I want to be able to do well in my raids, and we're gonna need that coming soon. We're gonna need anything that we can scrounge up to increase our power levels for the upcoming raid. So,
Well, that's very true. That's very true. I said no, and not because I don't want a level increase. I do for the reasons you specified.
yeah,
But that resource crunch, man, until they resolve that or mitigate it in some fashion, I'm going to be hesitant on any new level increase. So we talked a bit about the numbers last week. If they keep the same scaling that they did from if they keep the same scaling that they used from 65 to 70 for 70 to 75, it's going to be astronomically high.
yeah. I think it ends up being around, because it's about one. I think it's like 1.7 or something like that. 1.7 million now for 70. I'm sorry, for 65 to 70. So it should be probably around like 3 million or so for 70 to 75.
Yeah.
But which is a ridiculous amount, and that's crazy. And don't get me wrong, like that part of it, I'm not happy about at all. I think the best, just to summarize what I think we came up for the best decisions of what they could do is A, bring around payday more often, or B, they need to maybe add in gold orbs into Ult 7. So,
yeah, I'm really hoping they
nice.
do that. Really hoping.
I'm sure they won't, but
Right.
I'm honest. If I'm being 100% honest, like I'm very positive that they won't do anything to really, at least not immediately, to change the gold situation.
No,
So,
and honestly, it is something that I think we talked about a bit last week. A lot of games kind of struggle with their economy to start, and it could be a 1 to 2 year process. So,
God, that sounds daunting.
well,
but yeah,
it wasn't until I won't want to say it was last year, maybe a year and a half or so ago. I mean, it had to have been a solid year to a year and a half into the game. Maybe even more. The Galaxies, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, kind of mitigated that resource crunch. And like today, I'm sitting on like 25 million gold. It just feels like it flows in like water.
well, I want that to be the situation over here. Like,
And I've got a
now.
lot of people that care at level 80, max gear, everything. So
Right. It's just one of those situations where, and I apologize, I'm sure we won't get like very into this, but
right.
it's just one of those situations where our rosters are ever expanding. Our requirements for rosters as far as traits are considered are also expanding.
Right.
And we need the gold to go along with that, expanding all of those, but not increasing the amount, at least to a decent level. It's just not going to work. You keep that the same, but you expand everything else. It just doesn't make much sense to me. We've seen a little bit of a gold increase, but I just still think that what you get, the payouts on those are so dramatically different for people that it's just not a fair way, in my opinion, to do that. Something more like better consistency in payday more often would be a lot more fair, I think. But it's up for interpretation. We're going to see what happens with it. So yeah.
So next we've got. Are you looking forward to the teased Ultima 7 raid? Yes, no, or maybe.
Pretty sure I put a maybe on this because I'm excited to get into better rewards, but I'm also very frightened of what Ult 7 has in store, especially Red Star wise. So yeah, I'm scared, but I also want better rewards. It's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I think I put no here, simply because it's going to be so overtuned that it'll be 6 months before a top 200 guild is going to be able to do it, right? And I just worry about that. But and that is 50 other people agreed with me for a total of 60.7%. 21 people said yes for 25%, and then 11 people agreed with you for a total of 12 at 14.3.
Yeah. I will say, I think this is an underrated factor of bringing in new raids, though. At least for me, this is something that I kind of look forward to. it's less time that I have to spend rating overall, because if I am going to do 100% completion, so like if I did Alpha 3 right now, we would be doing the 100%, right? So that's a lot more nodes, so that's more time that I have to spend going through all the nodes and more that I have to keep up with, as opposed to the Alpha 4, which we only have to make the 30%, you know? So it's less nodes overall that I have to do. So that kind of helps out time-wise for me. I think that's an underrated factor. I don't know about you.
That's fair.
I kind of like that. So I am kind of looking forward to not having to do, a lot of nodes and a lot of keeping up with Alt 6. I'm looking forward to less pings in my Alliance Discord.
Right. Very fair. Let's see. Do you think Foxnex has tuned the raid with red stars in mind? Yes or no?
I mean, so there's two ways that I interpret that. I think, or are you asking, do you think that they tuned it fairly with them in mind, or
nope? Just did they tune it with red stars in mind? So is it? Do you think you'll be able to complete it without red? And maybe it was a little ambiguous, but do you think they tuned it expecting you to have enough red stars to complete it?
Oh,
that basically red stars are going to be a requirement to complete it.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to, like, that's not even a doubt of my mind. So yeah, 100%. I think that they think that I think generally they think that you have an abundance of red stars exactly where you need them, and this will be just fine. Which is not the reality of the situation.
I can tell you they don't believe that. Anyway,
okay, well then they don't show it very well.
Right. 74 people agreed with us. I also said yes. For 90.5%. 8 people actually said no. So 9.5% of respondents do not think they will have tuned it to for red stars. Do you think it will have trait nodes?
I don't. I would like to say no, and I don't think that it will, because I think that they want to leave Alt open for you to hit with everything you got, and then the alpha, gamma, beta raids are all going to be used for trade. But I could easily see them switching that to also be trade. I really hope that that's not the situation, but I would say right now, judging from what we've seen, it won't.
Yeah, I think that I don't think it will either. I think that I agree with you. I think Ultimus is the generic raid. And the alpha, beta, gamma is what's going to have the trait nodes. So 52 people agreed with us for 64.3%, and then 30 people said yes, it will have trait nodes for 35.7%. So now we get to have our weekly Cry Fest. So Hebrew, how happy have you been with your red star pools? Your options are very happy, somewhat unhappy, or not happy at all.
I believe I either put somewhat unhappy or not happy at all, because I suppose somewhat unhappy would. Well, this is hard because I hate the system in general, but for my polls specifically, I would say I'm still not happy with them. I only have like 2 characters that I really want red stars on with red stars on them. So with good red stars on them. So I would say not happy.
Okay, I actually put somewhat unhappy as well. And I've actually had some decent pulls. I've got a 5-star Fury, a 5-star Magneto, 5-star Ronin, 5-star Mark Lieutenant.
Dang, yeah.
There are no 6 stars. I don't have anything above a 5.
Yeah, me neither.
But 4 is where it really starts to, as everybody knows, 4 is where you start to see that number change, and that increase really kick in. So
yeah.
Let's see. And it was actually it was actually relatively well split among the at least among 3 of those options.
Yeah.
You want to take a guess which one was not split in there?
Yeah, no one's perfectly happy with this, that's for sure.
2 people were. 2 people were very happy.
Really?
Yeah, so 2.4%. Those are the 2 guys that dropped the 7-star shield security day 1.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
The majority agreed with us, so 31 people said somewhat unhappy, for a total of 39.3%. The next was somewhat happy at 27 people at 32.1%, and then the 22 people were not happy at all, for 26.2%. So, I mean, a good majority are kind of in that middling, somewhat range. And I think that a lot of us are just kind of the whole, look, they're here to stay. You know, we understand the process at this point.
Yeah.
So, do Hebrew and Dorian sound like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets? Your options are yes, no. Oh my God, why didn't I make the connection earlier? And who are Statler and Waldorf? And what are Muppets?
I bet you are surprised that I actually knew this reference. But yeah, I put yes. We had a comment in Reddit mentioning that, and I immediately told Dorian, I was like, oh my God, this is so true. So yeah, that was great.
I upvoted that guy real quick. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, thank you. That was, and you made it. You've now been enshrined in our episode poll forever.
That's right.
So what did you answer? Yes, no, or oh my God, why didn't I make the connection earlier?
Oh my God, why didn't I make the connection earlier?
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. This one actually was really, really evenly split. 27 other people agreed with us for the why didn't I make this connection earlier for the highest at 34.5%. 19 people both said no, and who are Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
And then 17 people said yes. So I would say that there's a large majority here, including you and I, of 45 people think that we sound like Statler and Waldorf.
That's true.
Not sure how I feel about that. And then out of 84 responses, our last question, how happy are you with the quality of the show? Hebrew, how happy are you with the quality of the show?
I am super happy with the quality of this show. I don't want anything to change.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. 40 people agreed with us for the highest amount.
Yes.
50% total responses said 5. So this is a 1 to 5. 34 people gave it a 4. Nobody gave it a 1.
That's good.
That is very good. 2 people did give it a 2. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 people did. No, 4 people gave it a 2. And 4 people gave it a 3. So to you 8 people, I highly encourage you come to our comments and feedback. Let us know. You can reach out to us privately and let us know what we can do to get that into a 4 to 5 range.
It's true.
And then if you could recommend one change to the show, what would it be? And we got obviously 84 responses. There are some really good ones here. To the person who said Dorian's voice, thank you. I appreciate you would change my voice. You know, there was definitely some good ones in here. More cowboy boots. A big one was more guests. I saw a lot of more guests in here. And apparently a lot of people want us to go even longer on our shows.
Yeah, that's it's so strange to hear feedback like that, because we constantly hear make it shorter, and then we constantly hear people saying make it longer. So I think that staying right where we are is perfect.
Maybe more people are saying make it longer. Nobody said make it shorter.
I suppose I'm thinking back to on Reddit, which granted we haven't had for a while, but originally on Reddit, do you remember how many times we've had people say that?
TLDRs, and I'm like, well, first of all, if you're reading a podcast, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that. I am okay with the speed up stuff. I think is totally fine. I can't do it personally, but yeah, if you want to listen to it on speed up, I know they have that for like the Apple podcast the Apple Podcast app and stuff like that. They do that if you need to.
Yep,
speeds up.
Yep. And we do appreciate everybody that did put some thought and time into this. And even if you were just joking around or not, obviously we take all these seriously. And we're gonna kind of go over these and figure out. I am probably going to start a GoFundMe to not for my laptop. That's still out there, by the way. But I'm gonna do a GoFundMe because one person had a suggestion, Hebrew, that I mentioned to you before the show that I've got to figure out how to make happen, and that is to have Paul Bettany record your intro.
Oh man, yeah, I forgot to think if we get enough money to somehow do that, I'm gonna be very upset that we put it towards that. If that happens though, I will allow it. Only because I like the actor in other things. Well, no, I like the actor, period. But what they did with him, that was part of the reason why I hated it so much, because what they did with him I thought was a disgrace. But yeah. All right. Continue.
Yep. Yeah. And remember, I give you the pre-edited show.
Yeah.
So you can't cut intro because I'll make sure that it will be completely obvious.
Yeah, I'll if we somehow magically get it, which we never will, because that would be so much money, it's crazy. But if we somehow have that happen, I will allow that to be. I will happily accept that as my intro.
And it'll obviously be Vision related.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like if people cared that much to basically troll me, then who am I to get in the way of that?
Yep.
So.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's bringing a tear to my eye now.
Yeah.
So. All right. Thank you to whoever posted the picture of Statler and Waldorf in the chat. They say that I am the one on the right. Hebrew is the one on the left. I think the one on the right is Statler.
I know who they are. I don't know individually which one.
Right,
they
I don't know individually. But I'm the one with the mustache. Well, I actually have a beard, but
yeah,
they're both bald, so that works for me.
I guess I have that to look forward to in the future.
Oh yeah, there you are. Yep, thanks, Pope. Okay, let's move on. So that was our weekly poll. Thank you to everybody who responded. That was absolutely awesome. Obviously, we're going to leave it up and running. So if you listen to the show and you want to check it out, the links were available in different locations. But obviously, again, our Discord is probably going to be the best place to find it. All right, Hebrew. So now that we've done all that, and we are an hour into the show, let's actually get to the show, shall we?
We shall, yes.
All right, so let's talk about the news of the past week. So we kind of covered some of this stuff in the poll results. So I think we'll probably be able to kind of breeze through a lot of this stuff. So obviously we had the Minerva campaign drop. I think we both enjoyed it. Obviously, did you use anybody other than Kree, or did you only use your Kree?
No, my Kree's up like pretty high, so I breezed right through it with Kree, and I kind of thought it was poetic doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, same here. What did you think of seeing Captain Marvel in action during that?
I was impressed. I mean, I knew her ability kit, so I kind of knew what was happening, and
right.
I had already seen her gameplay. But yeah, I mean, she was fun to actually have, and see in person. So
I agree. I really thought that her kit played well. I did not see her before that campaign. So it was I hadn't even really looked into her kit much prior to that. But I think it plays well. That binary form is amazing.
Yes.
And we're not going to cover her this week. We're going to go into her character kit when she gets released next week. So, obviously we had the Alpha Raid Make Good. We had we talked about the Alliance Wars coming, and we'll be able to see, there'll be some stuff coming about that. I know there's stuff floating around, but whatever. Wait, see.
Yeah, and plus we're getting tips, I guess, over the next few weeks.
Yep.
In game supposedly, so that'll be kind of interesting to see. We'll see what tips they have for us.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that the dev blogs are going to be more Alliance War focused going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Which we are going to cover tonight. Don't worry. If you're hanging around for the dev blog review. So they started something, and I don't know if this is going to be permanent, if this is a temporary thing, if this is their way of helping us farm red stars or what. But they added in the red star multiplier, and they chose Kingpin for their launch.
Yeah.
So Kingpin was increased to like an 8% drop rate, or 8 times more, right? Which makes it roughly 8%. I think my first response to Fox Next, I pinged them privately, and I was like, Kingpin? Do the people making these decisions even play this game? You pick the one guy who gets like 0 benefit from red stars.
From actual red stars, yeah.
Sure, he gets more health. Yippee.
Yeah, he has a bazillion health now. Or he has, instead of a bazillion health now, he has 2 bazillion health now. Yeah.
It's kind of like, oof, guys. And so, yeah, I was kind of just, do you even MSF, bro? So, what do you think about the red star multiplier?
So I'm sorry. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and not be too mean. I think that there is some good quality to it, like what we saw with the release of Minerva. She, for a little bit, had a 4 times, I believe, multiplier on her for the red stars whenever she dropped. So I like if they do those. Whenever a character is released for that time period, you have an increased chance of pulling them in the red stars. I do not mind that. But my issue is that we're going to see if they do this as a normal thing, which if they just started on Kingpin randomly, I believe it will be. It's going to be like a rotating thing, I bet. I don't like that because there's going to be several weeks whenever there's going to be people we just don't want. We're going to be too afraid of pulling accidentally. And so we're going to have to hold our impulses, which is tough already. And so that's going to be a problem. And then also what scares me the most is if they think that this is the answer to focus farming characters, I'm going to be super upset. Like if this is their, like what they've been talking about as their, don't worry guys, like we have something planned to help with that problem, like with focus farming people. If they think that this is the answer, like this is their big answer to that, I'm going to be very upset because this is not a way to focus farm people. You're still leaving it up to a very huge improbability that we will ever pull this character still. So, yeah, this better not be that answer. So that being said, like there's a couple of ways that they could do it. I really don't mind at all. Like I said, the release of whenever a new character comes out, increase their chances. I actually like that. But if they do this rotating thing, make sure that they give us plenty of time in between characters to pull red stars. And if I were them, I'd be making it meta characters, even though that's like, you know, some people will probably be like, why don't we give characters that aren't in meta a chance? And it's like, honestly, right now we can't afford it. You know, if we want to be pulling on something, I'd rather be pulling on a meta character. But most of all, like I said, just I don't want it to be the answer to this. This better not be the answer to the big problem that we have.
I don't think it will be, and I say that as I come at it from like a monetary point of view. Do you really think they're selling extra red stars when people think that there's a chance that they're going to get more Kingpin? I mean, there's only one benefit to that, and that's to pull the elite fragments. But even that's a zero. That's a negative sum game in the long run. Because once you start pulling elites, you're more likely to pull a 4-star, 75% chance to pull a 4-star, and you're going to get 900 fragments back. So I think once they see
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think once they see that they're going to start losing money, I think that'll change. I think once they find that point of where they start losing money, it's definitely gonna change.
I think that it will actually only increase their profits because, of course, there's going to be sometimes whenever there's going to be characters that we don't want to pull. But if they do that, they know that we're going to have impulse control problems, and we're going to pull on characters that we don't need. So it takes away chances of getting good characters, essentially, from pulling on the bad ones. And then B, they're going to have more people buy during meta character increased chances, but it's still they're basically selling more for still only a chance.
Yeah,
so
I think it depends.
I think that still benefits them.
Yeah, I think it's going to wind up depending because obviously, well, I mean, not obviously, but I think that they will lose during the Kingpin. I doubt they're selling as much during Kingpin as they would if it was Captain America, right?
It's speculative, but I would honestly say I bet that they're selling about the same. But
that's possible. People may just not care.
Numbers, but yeah, I think that they're not caring, that it won't make really any difference on that front, but it will still potentially help them Fox Next overall, because they're going to be increasing the chance of pulling on a crappy character means that you have less of a chance to pull on a good character. So I think that's there. And then, yeah, definitely we're going to see increased pulling whenever, I'm sure you agree with that, whenever a meta character comes up with an increased chance, we're going to see bigger pulls on that.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Their numbers are going to spike because so I mean,
but I am interested in something else you said, though. You said that you don't think that this is their answer to that. What makes you think that? Obviously, within the realm of like
what I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if you know anything more than that. But it's from everything that I've heard, it's still not out in the open as far as what the plan is for that. But
yeah, so from having talked with different people at Fox Next, this doesn't feel like a solution they would come up with, because there's no real money in it, right?
I mean, just disagree with that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
If that were the case, right? So let's think about this for a second, right?
Sure.
Their first character was Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he could very well be a test case of let's see what happens.
Second character, really?
For the 8%, for their double chance.
No, I was just talking about for the increased chance.
No, you're right. I'm talking specifically for like a double chance this specific way, right? We've seen increased chances for like new characters.
I think Maneuver was the first one, right? Just so
Green Goblin, I think, was the first one. Mantis was double. Green Goblin was double, or had an increased chance.
Huh? I honestly
it wasn't
an
8%, but it was at least double.
Yeah, interesting. I think that Minerva was like 4 or something. I don't remember it being 8.
I don't remember specifically, but I can tell you that new characters recently have had increased drop chances. So Kingpin is either a very dumb choice or a very brilliant choice, depending on how you want to look at it. So we're tinfoil hat time, right?
Yeah.
and let me try to walk through my entire logic chain here. But
sure.
So by releasing Kingpin, they basically set a baseline of how much will people spend for a character, how much will people spend on red stars if they have an increased chance to get a character that honestly nobody really is going to want red stars on. Right. I would say a vast majority of people don't want Kingpin because he gets no real benefit from red stars.
Right.
So when they do this for Kingpin, they now have a baseline of, hey, we made X amount of money during this. Mm-hmm. I bet if we see the next character be somebody really, really good, they're going to use that as a comparison. And you're going to see this, and you may see this where they go, okay, we saw it, and they're going to compare it to like their pre-double drop sales, or their pre-8 times sales, whatever it was, right? And so you generate these trends, and it tells you whether or not that, and we'll see it for at least 6 weeks. I believe you need at least 6 weeks of this, or at least 6 goes of different characters to really establish a trend line to say, this is what happens depending on the popularity of this character. or quote unquote meta-ness. So that's the really, really smart tinfoil hat. The really, really dumb tinfoil hat says they don't have a plan yet. They're just kind of throwing a bone, and we're going to see what we see.
Right. Yeah, I think that I guess my answer to that, which I imagine to them, is that we know 100%, like even from what we said earlier, we know that sales are going to increase whenever good characters come up, and they have the increased chance on that. We know that that's going to happen. Sales are going to spike huge. So I don't think that this is going to deter people from buying or really pulling. And if they do, it'll be basically negligible, I would say. Once again, it's all speculative, but
right, it is, and this is all tinfoil hat speculative.
Right. But that would be my take on it. So I don't really see a downside. I only see an upside in them doing this. For them, obviously, it's a bad thing for us, for the most part. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. That being said, like overall, my biggest concern was just I really hope that this wasn't the answer to the big question we all have. But we'll see what happens with that. Only time will really be able to tell that. But getting better chances on meta characters isn't something that I'm going to complain about. But having this kind of nonsense where I might end up using my pulls on a crappy character gets a little annoying. So I have to play around blocks of time now for pulling my red stars, which is just annoying to me, and for people with bad impulse control, it's not good.
Right. And
which is good for Fox Next.
Right. I mean, I waffle back and forth between doing my free 5 for my one a week, right? Because of the Kingpin drop. Yeah. I did get, like I said, I did get a Kingpin. It was like a 2-star Kingpin, right? But I got a 5-star Ronin. So I'm kind of like, I'm really happy I didn't wait.
Yeah, I mean, that's
and that's the crap of the gambling. That's you're gambling. I mean, you're taking a chance. Do I play the odds now, or do I play the odds later? And part of me doesn't think this is the final solution, because there are much better money making ways they could go. And let's be honest, okay, whatever they do, it's going to be about making money. Which I'm not begrudging them. They're a business, right? Make money.
Yeah. It's just how greedy do they get with it? I
well,
don't mind people making money.
Not even the greed. It's the way it's the screwing over. It's the sleight of hand that I feel is a little bitchy, right?
I guess I consider that synonymous with greed. If they get too greedy, then they're doing stuff like that.
Somebody in chat said if you had held, you may have pulled 7 stars for all defenders, but that's just the point, Flip. That's the gamble. You can't tell me I would have pulled 7 stars for all defenders. I can tell you by not waiting, I did pull a 5-star Ronin. Now, did I know it was going to happen?
You may have pulled.
But I did pull it, right? If you held, you may have pulled, but you don't. The problem is there's no guarantee, and unless the defenders were, at that time, the increased chance, even then, out of 5 pulls, I got 1 Kingpin. Now, granted, it was only 5 pulls. It's very anecdotal, but, it's... I see. He says he was just reinforcing the gambling aspect. Sorry, I thought he was actually saying, but if you had held... I get it.
No, I don't think anyone...
I won't try to explain any further. He gets it. Okay, cool. But I think there are better money making ways that they can do it. For example, trait nodes, right? Trade orbs. My God, if they did trade orbs, I might be considered, or might consider lifting my no spending ban, because that would be worth it. That would be worth it. If I got stars and traits, that would be worth it for me.
Yeah, hearing that kind of kills me because it plays into exactly what they want. But yeah, I understand the need to. But I get that.
Here's the point I'm at. Okay, and this is not Helsinki syndrome. This is not me Stockholm syndrome, Helsinki syndrome, whichever one you want to call it. This is not me becoming a Fox Next shill. It's red stars are in the game. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
they are
it's a
not
reality.
changing them. These things are the ball and chain of MSF. You either learn to accept that or you don't. You can be upset and frustrated by everything associated with them from now on. And I'm just choosing at this point to say there are better ways of obtaining them. And they are a part of this game. They're required to succeed in this game. And, you know, if there was a way to farm them better, such as getting traits versus getting specific characters, I'd be supportive of that.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean, that's what I want. Like, I want at a minimum for there to be trait-based red star orbs at a minimum. But I think that I guess it's kind of a debate as to which way will get them more money, which we'll never really know the answer to. I wish they would allow us to see their profits, but they never will.
Well, they do have to report, right? So they have to report profits as a company. So Fox Next has to report profits as a company. So you will know something.
But I mean on specific aspects. So we won't know. We'll never know those.
There are sites you can go to that kind of track that information.
I guess, yeah. Peaks
Like
during
App Annie?
particular dates. Yeah, I guess that might show that. But anyways, my main point though was just that I think, in my opinion, that there is still more money in creating the scarcity of, you know, or keeping up the scarcity of the lack of trade orbs, and then having people, because of that scarcity, go all out whenever a meta character comes around with an increased pull chance. Because even then, it's still a much smaller chance to pull that one character over a trait-based node to pull that one character.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they are very good at resource limitations.
yeah.
So it's...
I think it's just one of the things we just kind of have to throw our hands up and be like, we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a rough week for them, to be honest with you.
How so?
So, just looking at App Annie, right? Looking at the app rank history, from February 16th to February 22nd, so for last week, they stayed in like the they dipped into the 500s.
Oh yeah.
In rank, download rank. So they averaged below 425 for the week.
That's for
easily.
downloads, though, right?
Well, yes, but that's so part of the Fox Next model. If you look at what they're doing, seems to be geared towards the new players. It's geared towards bringing them in, get them to spend, and then don't care what happens after that. And as long as they've got that churn of the new player, that's really what it looks like to me. They're focused on gouging new players.
Yeah, but from what we've seen before on just, well, for games in general, mobile games in general, it still is like 99% of the population does not matter whenever it comes to funds for games. It's only like the 1% of whales which actually makes a difference. So I think that still in the larger front, player base is a good analytic to show investors, but as far as profits are concerned, those are pretty much all derived from whales.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. And we do obviously have some mega whales in this game, Widow.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, by the way. We'll get to you in a little bit, buddy.
We probably should scoot this along, I will say.
Maybe. According to comments, people like this.
I know. Don't forget, I have to edit this too. So people want it on time.
You can't have longer shows and get it on time.
Exactly.
But I agree with you. Obviously, I think studies have shown whales fund the game more. But if you don't
dramatically, vastly more. Vastly more, like a huge difference.
Yes, absolutely. But if you don't have new players coming in, and you don't, even the small, there's no such thing as a microtransaction in Fox Next or in Strike Force, but getting the new players spending is what gets them in. And when your download rank for games is under 425 and you hit like 535. Now this is just Android. I don't have the numbers for Apple. That's not good. That's not good at all. I mean, they were like sub 50 for action games.
Mm-hmm. But I will say, I think that there's a lot to do with that, and I think they probably expected that. It's been a while since we've had a Marvel movie come into the mainstream. We always see peaks during that kind of stuff. So I think that that's why. Like, whenever we had it, a new Marvel movie like every month for a little bit there, it was way up high. Since then, it's been dropping, which I think is to be expected. But whenever new content comes out, I'm sure it's going to hop right back up because they're going to have the whole Android and Apple spotlight thing, and then people are going to be like, oh, what's this game? New content came out, blah blah blah. But so I think that it'll always increase during that time. But
maybe
we'll see.
I worry about that a bit simply because we are in the prime time right now. I think Captain Marvel's coming out in a week. And
but
they just had a huge update
content.
focused on Captain Marvel.
Not quite yet, but she's coming.
The whole this whole update is around the Kree and Captain Marvel. I mean, yes, you're right. She's not in game yet, but they're spending, I imagine, thousands of dollars for this Jovenshire guy to try to target his 400,000 subs.
Right.
And I don't think they're seeing that influx of players from his subs that they would have liked.
Oh, I'm sure they won't, but I feel like for a lot of other reasons that you and I know, at least, whenever it comes to his audience. But I think that like whenever I see this every time, so this is probably why I kind of got used to this cadence. Whenever I see on the iOS store, there's a new content section that comes out, like whenever a big update comes. That hasn't happened for Marvel's yet. So like they're going to have a feature, I'm sure, whenever Miss Marvel actually comes in, like is unlockable, right? I'm sure they're going to have a little feature, and they're probably going to be in the new content section, which boosts them up to be right in the eye line whenever you go to the game section, and that's going to boost them back up again.
Yeah, maybe. The problem is they're competing.
Always happens for us.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is they're competing with Contest of Champions, Puzzle Quest, Battle Lines now. I think that's released.
Only Marvel. It's only if you look at the player base for the other ones outside of Contest of Champions, it's incredibly small in comparison to MSF and Contest of Champions. Contest of Champions even makes this look kind of hilarious. Their player base is very large, but the other ones though are very small in comparison. So these two for sure you're going to see. Although I don't really recall seeing features of content for Contest of Champions, but that could just be me because I'm not looking for it. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of getting into semantics a little bit. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I agree it is lower now, but I have just a feeling that's why. But whenever the movie comes out and we get closer to that kind of stuff, I think personally we'll see a pretty big boost.
Yep. It'll be interesting. I have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was checking out the Play Store real quick. Okay. Let's see. So let's move on. I think we kind of. I mean, I think it's good that Red Stars inspire this much conversation. I just think there's a lot.
Sure.
It's just so bad that the conversation feels so negative all the time.
Yeah, that's their own fault.
So let's try to get to some more positive stuff. So this Blitz, we saw the unexpected return of the psychotic one, Carnage, and that wasn't unexpected. What was unexpected was the fact that we got orb fragments for completing Blitz nodes. How awesome was that?
That was good. I kind of looked back and I didn't even see anything about that in the message.
No, that was one of those stealth things that they love to do.
Yeah, so at least this one was a happy surprise.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Like they put this back in. I wish that they actually would have mentioned it because I would have started on him earlier because of that. But Yeah, I like that they did this. I think everyone can kind of agree that this was, it's only more stuff, so you can't be too upset with that. If I'm putting in the same effort and getting more stuff, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that they should do this for. I think they should do this for everyone. But at least for cool new characters, I think that that's a good thing to kind of bring in along with it. Only adds to kind of more intrigue and more excitement. Gets to spice up Blitz a little bit more, which is, in my opinion, very, very dreary and tedious. So, it definitely makes me want to play it a little more, which is good. So that tells me good things. What about you?
Yeah. So it's frustrating because obviously it's random. You get 0 or you get, like, I guess maybe a full orb at some point.
Yeah.
It's a really big spectrum to go from 0 to 2,000. And there's, there's a chance it'll happen. And then there's a chance of what you're going to get. And I'd rather it just be like constant, like what they do with other currency. Just give us 50 fragments of fight. Give us 100 fragments of fight. I mean,
so you just want them to fine tune it like they did with the events, basically.
Yeah, with the campaign events, if you lock it in, give us a guaranteed amount, because I would be more inclined to blitz if I knew what I was getting. I could be arsed to blitz for a chance. I don't care enough. I would rather see them do guaranteed. Give us 50, give us 75, give us 100, and I promise you're gonna see the blitz numbers go even higher.
Yeah, I think consistency is good, but I am glad that it's just in there again in general. I suppose that it's still a thought on their mind.
I'm happy it's there. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy it's there.
You want them to fine tune it.
I'm so tired of randomness. I'm just so tired of
in this game. That's incredibly understandable.
Right. Okay. So sticking with Blitz, what did you think of the quarter Blitz, where everybody's only 5 charged to refresh?
Great for people that are going to be blitzing a lot. Obviously they did it for this blitz at this time for a reason.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it doesn't change. I'm 10% and chill. So for me, it doesn't really change anything. You won't get me to blitz more for something like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I'm sure that the whales are happy for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's only
dolphins,
what, 25 cores per blitz refresh. Why do you think the numbers are looking to hit 30 million this time?
Yeah. Oh God, that's just such a huge number. Ugh.
Right. This
is so bad.
I mean, I can't believe.
Could you imagine as a new player coming in and seeing that? I mean, I think they're in that new player shard for a bit.
30 days.
30 days.
30 to 60 days, maybe.
Right. Could you imagine coming out of that little playpen where all the other kindergartners are, and then just being thrust into New York City, and then you're like, oh my God.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just such a huge wall. I couldn't even imagine how intimidating that would be as a new player.
Oof.
They really need to do something about it. They need to split up the tiers more or something. Something needs to change, because that number's only going to keep getting higher, which means it's only going to keep getting worse for new players, which means it's only going to get more intimidating, and it's going to be more of a problem. They need to rework Blitz in general. It really is a big issue. That is such a crazy number. As someone who used to place in the top, I forgot what the original number was now. I think it was 500 was the original number.
It was something like that.
I had been up there before, and I've been up in the top 1500 before, but man, there's no way. Even whenever I was spending, I was just man, there's no way. As it kept getting worse and worse, it was there's just no way I can do this. Ugh. It's kind of gross to look at that number and just looking at your team and just being sorry boys, we're not going to go into this battle.
Yeah, I look at that and I go, okay, so my top team is my defenders who I think after today finally broke like 220, right? Actually, let's take a look real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so my defender team is at 221K.
Right.
They are getting around 58K per fight. So let's just round up to 60. Okay?
Right.
So it's going to take me, let's see, 2 fights for 120. So 6 fights for 720, right? No, 6 fights for 360, 12 fights for 720. It's going to take me almost 15, 18 fights just to get 1,000,000 points.
Yeah.
From that one team. But then so you have to have all your teams at that roughly the same level, and I'm at 8.3, right? So just the amount of fights, it's stupid. And honestly, it shouldn't be allowed. That bleeds into, honestly, that just, we've had discussion before. Oof, that number is just ridiculously high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, we should probably move past this because, yeah, it's going to sound defeating real quick. But, yeah, it's just, I really think rework, like, that's probably one of my top things now. Rework for Blitz, the whole Blitz system needs to happen because that number's only going to get worse. Can you imagine whenever we're sitting there at a day and it's like, 90 million? Like, what are you going to do? Yeah, and in time, like, that's the scary thing is that right now, if we look at it in time, that will happen. It's going to be a good bit down the line, that's for sure. But I mean, that number will eventually be at that point, and new players will be coming in unless things change, looking at that number. Like, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. But it's so at that point, they pretty much have to make a decision. They're either going to spin to catch up, or they are going to just keep falling behind.
Yeah, and it's, I really think they need to bring shards in for this, or, we should do another section at some other point on another episode of like how we would change Blitz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at some point you and I need to get into adding more content, like content for new people. Part of our problem is we're both way too chatty and we get drawn off topic way too easily. I need to start moderating it better.
Yeah, we're like a black hole of talking, basically.
We really are. I know, because you and I actually, we talked about this before the show when we were going over some of the poll results, that one of the things that kind of cropped up in there was you and I like talking over top of each other sometimes, or interrupting. And you all need to understand, both Hebrew and I are extremely chatty. And if we don't talk and interrupt each other, it will continue for 20 minutes. As a soliloquy. So we have to talk over one another.
Yeah, we almost kind of put it in there sometimes as like a, hey, by the way, I want to say something, like an alert.
Right.
Even though we know we're going to say like, oh, sorry, finish. Like, it's just kind of like a, hey, by the way, I have something to say.
Yep.
So at the next convenient time, pull over so I can drive.
Yep. Now, if and when we get to do video, because video component was another one, and if I can get a decent laptop and Hebrew can actually get a good internet, we might be able to do that. It'll be different because you'll have visual cues, but we don't have visual cues. So maybe we can get a clicker. When I'm click.
Yeah.
Click.
Some kind of like a red like stop sign or something like that we can hold up for each other. Something like that. Yeah, it'd be funny. So
yeah, that's kind of what happens there. We just get a little bit long-winded. Just like Blitz. Blitz is getting a little long-winded. I don't mind them releasing new characters to Blitz. In fact, I like it because if you've got a good solid roster, you put in the dedication and the time, you can unlock / start up your character for a minimal expense. Obviously, Whale's going to whale, and they're just going to power through and get whatever. But to me, Blitz isn't a horrible way of getting new characters. I would like to see perhaps more shards rather than just one global.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best solutions.
And because, like you said, at some point they're going to have to do something because the numbers are just going to keep going up and up and up. So,
right.
All right. I think we've kind of covered the news of the last week up to today. And then today we did get a dev blog. And thankfully, I kind of knew what was, a couple of things that were going to be in it. And kind of teased that out a little bit earlier. I'm glad to see that I wasn't made a liar. I always get worried because, whenever I'm told anything, I'm like, is it okay to like tell this to people? Right. And sometimes I'm told no, and other times I'm told yes. This is one of the times I was told yes. So, but as we all know, these things are done kind of almost last minute and, always subject to change. So, yes. Let's see. So this week was a community update about Fear the Darkness and traits. So, Hello Commanders were back this week to talk about traits, changes to the supply store, and a sneak peek at some of next week events. Character trait discussion is one that will always be a part of character releases, so we'll give some insight into how we determine these selections. But first, a special announcement from the Dark Dimension. Congratulations to Widowmaker. Well done. Well done. Because he slogged through. Now, he was being chased, right? There was a guy chasing him. But he slogged through that Fear the Darkness and completed it, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. And
yeah, I think it was Tuesday.
And suddenly the question on everybody's mind is, who's he going to pick? Because everybody on the planet thought he's going to take Hulk. I think that's what everybody odds were going towards, right? That because that was the only character he didn't have 7 stars, right? Talking with Fox Next, though, I guess they decided that, and I'm happy they did, that Captain Marvel, even though she's not available for release yet, she is in the game, so therefore she qualifies. So we are all going to get Captain Marvel. And so what's going to happen is starting March 14th, they'll have a special Widowmaker calendar where you can begin to acquire Captain Marvel shards. The calendar will contain Captain Marvel shards along with additional goodies and will continue up to the 1-year anniversary of Marvel Strike Force. His feat will be forever enshrined in Strike Force. You'll be able to view the tribute on the rooftop during an upcoming release. In addition to the 100 shards available throughout the calendar, 2 characters of Widowmaker's choosing that are currently available from campaign nodes will each be given 1 day of double drops during the calendar window. Those characters will be Black Panther and Doctor Strange. And then during this time, they'll have special offer to celebrate the Fear the Darkness victory. Of course you will. Here's my thing on this, right? And a lot of people notice this. So he did the Fear the Darkness, and it took him, 2 months?
Yeah. Well, was it that long? Maybe it was a little shorter.
Sure. Let's be nice. Let's call it a month and a half.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Then he turns around and does it again in 12 hours.
Yeah, that was my confusion. Whenever they said, and then he did it again last night, I was like, wait, what?
Wait, what? I mean, what?
I was very confused by that. I still don't know how it happened, but...
Because the last 80% took him almost a week.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the last 13% to 20% took him almost a week, I think. And it was like, wait, he did what in 12 hours?
Yeah, I actually thought for a second that he was, people just discovered that he hacked or something. Because I was like, whenever I first saw that, it was like, and then he just completed another one in 12 hours. On a post on Reddit, I was like, oh boy. People just found out he hacked or something. I was like, oh boy. And so I clicked on it, and everyone was like, congratulations, man, good job. And I was like, wait, this is legit? How in the world did he pull this one?
I want to know how he did it in 12 hours after it took him a month and a half. I mean,
yeah, I wish he did a run-through. I wish that he recorded it.
Here's the supposition, though, right? Mm-hmm. Once you complete that Fear of the Darkness, how much gear are you now able to get? So how high was he able to take some of these, some of these teams? And I don't think he had enough to use Ultron in Fear of the Darkness, but how much better was he able to get some of these other teams? It basically is what it boils down to for me. Like, I finished the Darkness, today for the second time, and I was able to take 2 characters almost to tier 13. I'm only missing uniques, 1 unique on all of them.
Yeah, I just can't imagine that, because that's an obvious answer to why he was able to do it. But even then, I don't think that big of a time difference. I can't imagine that being caused purely because he got a character to maybe 3, even 4 characters up to the next gear level. I just don't know if that would change that amount of time. Does that make sense?
Now, so here's the other thing.
Uh-huh.
How much money did he drop?
That's what I'm wondering, how much money just left his bank account because of that.
Because he was being chased by somebody else who we actually have 2 people that have now completed Fear the Darkness. Mm-hmm. And so how much was he worried about? Because look, whales wail for a very simple reason. They want the recognition.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Widow wanted the recognition here, and I think it's very likely he dropped a ton of money to finish that much more quickly the second time around.
I agree. Yeah. I think money was the biggest difference maker there.
Yep. Somebody at Fox Next is rolling a cigar, man. I'm just.
Oh yeah. Sure.
I'm getting pictures of the old black and white. Or the older movies where you get the really heavy set old guy just leaning back in a chair in a suit and tie, stoking on a stogie,
dude.
Huh? Token on a stogie.
Kingpin.
Kingpin. There you go.
Kingpin runs this company. I think we just found out what is actually happening. For some reason, as soon as you said that, Kingpin just sitting back rolling a cigar and smoking it, I was like, holy cow, the Kingpin runs this company.
And with Kingpin, and that makes sense with Kingpin being the first of the increased drop chance.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was like the subtle nod to him. Wow, we just did it. We did it. we figured it out.
Oh man, Fox Next confirmed.
Much sense.
Oh, my mind just shattered a little bit. I mean, just
I know.
boom.
If you place him in anywhere in this, it all makes sense now. You're like, oh my god, this is perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I hope that someone please make that memes or something. Make everything out of that. We need to make a shirt out of that too, for sure. But yeah, okay. So it's really crazy whenever you think about how a game, like how much money. If you just look at like the person running the accounts for this game, like just seeing those numbers rolling just from like a video game you play on your phone. Can you imagine like how crazy is that? The numbers that they see pop up on the screen.
Oh yeah,
man. I'm just so jealous about that. Yeah. But it is what it is. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you for picking Captain Marvel. Right. So we are going to get her for 14 days now. I actually take a little bit of issue with this. Surprise, surprise. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's surprising nobody. Because so I feel it's a little bit of a bait and switch. Mm-hmm. Because you have to log. I imagine you're going to have to log. You have to log in all 14 days to get the 100 character shards.
Yeah,
but that's not what they said. They said everybody's going to get 100 character shards. Now, I don't expect people that enter the game a month after he did this to just be given, "Oh, hey, here's 100 Captain Marvel shards." Mm-hmm. But I do feel that doing it through this timed release mm-hmm. is a little shitty to people.
I actually agree. Whenever they said that it was coming through a calendar event, I was like, that's not how I thought this was going to work.
No, I thought this was going to be, hey, he completed it. Here's 100 shards.
100 shards. Yeah, exactly. That being said, yeah, I don't think it's terrible. And I think they kind of lightened the blow with him, and you get a whole bunch of other little goodies. So we'll see what those little goodies are. But
right. And look, at this point, if it's not orange unique, I don't care. I'm actually at that point. I need the orange unique.
Yeah, the stakes need to be higher. But I think that it's one of those things where people are probably going to immediately knee-jerk to that reaction and just say, oh, well, come on, it's only the difference of, like a month, right, before you get all 100. But in reality, it has bigger problems because just like you said, like there's a chance you might not get them or some of them if you don't log in to receive them.
Right. What if something happens or you're on a business trip and you just can't? I mean, I feel like I said, I'm grateful they're living up to the words. I think it's awesome that they are doing that they allowed him to do Captain Marvel. And I had a suspicion from talking with them because I asked, I asked like, would Captain Marvel be available? And they're like, well, she's in the game, right?
Yeah.
So, I had a suspicion that it would be doable. I wasn't sure that was going to be the pick, but it wasn't unexpected to me. But that calendar really just kind of, and I'm going to have to bring that to them as a question and say, hey, you said this, now you're doing this. What happens in this situation? So, Flip just asked, could he have, sorry, I get distracted by this because it is kind of a good question. Could he have said Okoye or Red Skull 2? No, because they are not released in-game as playable characters. They are not playable characters. They're NPCs, right?
Yeah,
so I think the caveat is they
screen
have to be released characters.
Yeah, they have to be on the roster.
Yes.
I think the thing next to that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they have to be a released character in game. And I'm sure there were caveats to that, like no Ultron, no Ultimus, but
or any legendary character because that would throw everything off.
Right.
Yeah.
That would throw those off. So and it would be pointless for a legendary.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, sorry I got distracted by that. I'm not sure I like I see why they did the time release. And it's very smart on their part, right? Because, sure, we're going to get 100 shards, and it's going to take 14 days to get there. She has a 100 shard unlock. So at the end of the event, or at the end of the calendar, if you log in every single day, you're going to get a free Captain Marvel. Great. Where they're really smart about it and what they're doing, and I actually kind of applaud them for this. They're doing it in the timed release, which is a smarter way to go. Which means that people are still going to spend to early release her, right? Early unlock her, gear her up, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Now, I hope it's not a cascading issue with these milestones where, because supposedly she's supposed to be coming through a milestone event as well. We haven't seen that. We don't know what that's going to look like. I hope it's not a cascading effect though, where as you get more Captain Marvel shards, you do better in the milestone to get more Captain Marvel shards. And it kind of becomes a snowball effect.
Right.
So the only way to get the Captain Marvel shards is to buy the Captain Marvel. The only way to get the milestone. So I worry about that.
What was data mined? From what was data mined, let me just pull it up real quick. It looks like it won't be based on that. It looks like it's going to be...
I didn't think the data mine had gotten that specific.
The High Roller, spend gold daily, the Save the World, spend campaign energy over 3 days, and then the World Warriors Alliance, win battles in arena, raids, and blitz.
Okay, I missed this one.
Yeah, it's fairly new.
That's from Wednesday. My mind skipped over this one for reasons. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see.
We still don't know. The problem is we don't know the
spin gold daily.
Numbers.
I don't know how you're going to do that.
What gold, right?
Right. What gold?
But yeah, it comes down to how many points they give us per how much we spend.
Yeah.
Or how much we battle or whatever like that. So the specifics of that are we have to really see if that's going to be balanced or fair or pay to play or whatever. But yeah, I think generally, like I agree with you on that one. It's so annoying or I should say annoying, but frustrating that you always have to take what they say and spin it around to figure out all the different meanings because it's never going to be exactly how it sounds. You know what I mean? So you see that with the way that they said you're going to get 100 shards if you log in every day to get all of the dailies for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting kind of frustrating that you always have to do that, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're getting 100 Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel shards, so that is good, and I am glad for that. And plus, we get a special offer, right? That's exciting.
Right?
Finally, a special offer.
Hey, you'll save 50% off to get 50% less shards.
Exactly.
So yeah, she's coming. I don't know what you're talking about, Flip. I can't. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such a thing. So all right, let's move on. So was there anything else in the Widowmaker stuff that kind of had you go cool? I mean, honestly, I thought the Black Panther Doctor Strange thing, I think it's nice because those are two highly requested characters. Or they were, like 6 months ago.
That's weird choice. Yeah, I think those are weird choices, actually. And I will say, I think that the reason why he picked them might be because I understand Black Panther more than Doctor Strange, because I feel like Doctor Strange is just basically at a point where he's unusable right now, unless you get some really good red star drops on him. But I feel like maybe the reason why he put those in was more because he's letting us know, this is tinfoil, put on your tinfoil hats for this one. He's letting us know that those two characters specifically will be important for the mode, the Fear of the Darkness. That's the only thing I think of. For Doctor Strange, just because he has a particular big thing that he does, the flip.
Yeah.
Maybe that the reason why he put that out there was because he's like, hey, you're going to need this character for this mode. You haven't seen the shit I've seen. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, that is a bit tinfoily, but
that was my thought behind it.
I hate double drops at these things because 0 times 0 is still 0. 0 times double. I mean,
it doesn't help me too much in the long run. I totally agree with you.
Give me guaranteed drops. I'll spend energy for guaranteed drops.
Yes.
Even if you just made it 2, just say, hey, you know what? We're going to give you guaranteed drops.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably blow through what little energy I've got for that. And again, for the $5 for energy or whatever, maybe for guaranteed shards, if it's going to be cheaper than out of a supply store, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely do that for guaranteed drops. But
so,
double drops are, they're either good or they're bad.
Yeah.
For me, most of the time, they're still not great. So.
Yeah, and there's only one day that's going to happen.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But, it's something. And
it is.
We didn't
really
expect it either. So it's a little bonus. So I can't complain about it too much,
Yep. I agree. So let's talk about traits.
Yep. Let's do it.
Or as it has come up more recently, why the heck doesn't Punisher have the military trait? So when they apply traits to characters, they're based on 2 things. It is a defining characteristic of the character, and does it make for interesting strategic choices? To be honest, the first one is a bit arbitrary. Countless hours have been spent in comic shops, late-night diners, and on Facebook walls debating just this sort of thing. Wolverine has gone to war. Dr. Doom's powers have been both technological and mystical in nature. Kingpin has been the nemesis of many a hero in New York City. Just about everyone has been an Avenger at some point. These discussions are part of why we love the Marvel Universe. That's very true, by the way.
Yes, 100%.
So they then go in to discuss Deadpool, and as you know, Deadpool could technically be military, but he was better defined as a mercenary because he was a merc with a mouth. But, like I said, here is most mercenaries tend to be ex-military. Those characters get the mercenary trait in place of the military trait. We also don't want to remove traits, as we have all invested in characters in order to build trait-based team, and it would hurt to lose access to a clutch character when we need them. Specifically to Punisher, though. When it comes to Punisher's military trait, or lack thereof, it's more about the current state of the game's meta strategy. Captain Marvel is a powerhouse who synergizes well with military characters by providing additional damage via her passive ability. She may slot into their defender's team a little too easily if Punisher has a military trait, especially in war, where military characters will enjoy additional bonuses. Admittedly, a Captain Marvel plus Punisher book would definitely be on my pull list. Mine too. We want to give the current meta-viable teams more time to breathe before we make the already butt-kicking defenders even stronger, and Captain Marvel is just getting started. Once we see how Captain Marvel impacts the landscape, especially upon the arrival of war, we'll likely add the military trait to more characters such as Punisher. To Frank Castle, we say Semper Fi. That actually makes sense. And
it does.
That actually... I actually appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they're going, hey, Captain Marvel is just going to make their damage just go through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are things I like about it, and just a tiny thing that I don't, which is for the same reason that you just said, yes, there are problems that will come from doing that, and I appreciate them taking that into account. I don't know if that should necessarily dictate if a character gets a specific trait or not, but for him particularly, I could, because he hasn't been in the military for a while and he's kind of a rebel anti-hero kind of guy, like I could see them not putting that trait on him. But if it was someone that was very obviously military, and then them not putting a trait on it just because it hurt the meta, I would be a little upset about that. But for him, I get that. Now that they've explained that, for him in particular, I do get that. And I do appreciate them. I didn't think that they were ever going to answer that, but I actually appreciate them going out of their way to address it. And obviously they feel strongly about it. And I do like the idea that they actually somehow managed to pay attention to balance, even though there's so many other parts of this game that makes no sense. They pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Like whenever Shield and Fury were released, and they were surprised whenever someone blew through Enter the Darkness with it.
Yeah. Look, live and learn, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest. I mean, it's not, her military bonus isn't huge. It's they gain 15% max health and plus 10% damage.
Nothing to scoff at, but it's not game changing. Like whenever there's more characters in there that might be better suited, I could see that being more impactful. But right now, with the current traits we have, or the current people that we have within that trait, it's not particularly crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so like my Punisher right now is nearly maxed out. So he's 7-star, level 70, T12. He's one gear piece away from T13. He's only got like 10,000 damage.
Yeah.
So 10,500. So he, with Captain Marvel, if he had military, it would be 10,000 or another 1,050.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't always look at is the fact that his passive,
the villain increase,
the villains,
yeah,
and that gets insane.
Yeah, especially whenever you consider something like his ult, which hits just a massive amount of people, especially with how many people we see stacked up on one node at a time now. Imagine breezing through the line with all of those characters.
Yeah, because he gains
with all that damage.
Yeah, so I have his passive maxed. He gains 50% damage against villain targets.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, sure, it only feels like another 10%, but then you got to take another 50% on top of whatever, and it's just, yeah. So, I get it. I understand why, maybe we don't see the traits that we would expect to see on certain people. But, something just struck me. They mentioned Dr. Doom in here. Who's not in the game.
Did they?
Yeah. Now they weren't talking about them discussing this stuff, but they did talk about Dr. Doom's powers have been both technological and mystical in nature.
Oh yeah, I think that was just kind of in general about characters, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I've been saying for a while that they're going to put him in. I mean,
Yeah.
well, actually, we all know that he's going to come in eventually. He's one of the biggest characters in Marvel. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's not like I cracked the code on that or anything. But I do think that he's coming within the next 7-8 months.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So that's why Punisher does not have military, and why we don't see perhaps other traits on people as well. They updated the store today. So they added a new row of orange gear materials that can be used to progress through gear tier 12 and 13. Boy, I sure hope so. I don't know. I think the unique orange material drops are so poor.
Yeah. There's a lot of complaints about that.
Hopefully they've changed the chances on some of those new ones so that there's a better chance of getting some. We'll have to see. I think it's great that they've added it. Look, at worst, it's another place to get more orange gear. Way overpriced orange gear because, everybody's flowing in gold, but it's at least more gear.
Yeah, I agree. It's something. It's a step in the right direction. Another step in the right direction, I should say.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. We've got a War Machine Blitz, so the March to War continues next week as War Machine enters Blitz, battle through waves of player teams to earn milestones and Blitz rewards. Yep, milestone and chill.
Yep,
I think it's cool. I think it's awesome that, because I've always thought War Machine was one of the more versatile characters we've gotten lately.
I think he ended up being a little lackluster.
Maybe. I don't think we've seen his full potential yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
And I don't know why people aren't trying him in that Brotherhood team. But he's got to be tip top to run in that team.
Yeah, plus there's lots of other really good combinations that people are pulling out with Brotherhood right now that just do better.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes fun is better than better.
I'm not going to argue that. But sometimes you also want to complete ridiculous nodes that they give you.
Let's see. Strike Raid Beta is on the way. That's right. The Strike Raid Beta featuring Miles Morales returns next week. Prepare your teams to battle some of Ultimus's toughest allies. AKA, we're going to get a Beta 4.
Yep.
And I can tell you, I don't think I'm speaking out of school when I say it will be retuned. I don't know this for a fact. Nobody has told me this. My previous conversations with him when we got the Gamma Raid, and we got a retuned Alpha Raid, when these raids come back, they are considered new raids. Even though they're the same name, they're considered a new raid, especially if they add new content.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I think you were part of some of those conversations, right?
Oh yeah, no, and I think that here's the thing, like, it's a little annoying that they always kind of just mess with their wording. But
oh yeah,
that only makes sense that is the situation that happens, because if you think about it, like, there's only so far they can go without red stars, and as we are getting better with red stars, if they capped it out at just its limitation of gold stars and Stark Tech, we would surpass it super easily. So it only makes sense that things are going to get harder. That's the next layer of progression that they added into the game. Like, they have to go by that with new raids. Yeah. Like, that's how they increase difficulty. So it really only makes sense that they do that. It's just unfortunate that power spikes are so huge with red stars late, in the later stars. So that's what makes it just feel like it's, really hard to overcome as new stuff comes out.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I think I don't remember, and it sucks that you kind of have to do this, but didn't when the Alpha Raid came back, because I reached out to them, if I remember correctly, when the Alpha Raid first came out, it did not have Carnage or Green Goblin in it in the Alpha 3. I don't remember it having Carnage and Green Goblin.
I don't remember.
For the Alpha, because, we've seen multiple iterations of the Alpha at this point.
I don't think so.
But the Alpha 3 had Carnage and Green Goblin.
Yeah, I don't... Do you have an issue with that, or?
Well, yeah, because they went back and they changed old raids.
Oh, I see what you're saying. After they had said that, they added that into the
Right.
third, which
Now,
already
it wasn't
existed.
retuned for red stars, but they did
Right.
change the raid and change the nodes, and they moved the goalposts.
Yeah, I think that I don't quote me on this, but I think that they said that they wouldn't change old content to be tuned to red stars.
Yeah, so I tried to go back through all the dev blogs I could find because I remember them saying somewhere that they would. It was about the moving goalposts,
Right.
and I couldn't find it, and I'm gonna have to try to do more research because I kind of want to hold their feet to the fire on the moving goalposts content and comments. Not that it'll do any good. I mean, they don't listen to me, but it makes me feel better.
Right. Just to know you are right and that you're not crazy.
Well, look, you've known me for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm always right.
Yep.
Or at least I'm always right in my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we'll see the beta raid. We're gonna see. Boy, you better have Spider-Verse to get through that raid. Because if I remember those nodes correctly, that's a lot of Spider-Verse that's required. And if you don't have Spider-Verse geared and red starred, that raid's gonna be that's gonna be a kick in the teeth right there.
Yeah, I don't remember the trait nodes required for it too much, but I mean, I certainly don't have my Spider-Verse up. I'm very lacking in that department, so we'll have to see.
I mean, my Venom, my Spider-Man, and my Miles are decent. But yeah, they're not going to be able to get through this. So the beta raid takes Mystic, Tech, and Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Ooh. Now some early,
And that is just bad for me. Like Mystic is okay-ish.
Well, early nodes will take skill.
Yeah,
so that's nice.
Skill I can easily run through. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you lose skill once you get to the first boss. Then it switches to bio to get to the second boss.
Yeah.
And then it looks like it switches to mutant on one side, mystic on the other. Or you can run some bio up the middle to the third.
Yeah,
boss.
I remember this one now. I actually fare pretty well in this one. So yeah, you can make your way without it, or you can find a lane for people who don't have good Spider-Verse teams or tech teams.
Yeah, you'll be able to find something. I'm kind of hosed because it's either bio mutant or because bio is my best trait. So and they delayed Fury again.
Yeah. At least we have a date on it though now, if I remember correctly.
March 20th.
Yeah, March 20th. So at least we have what will most likely be a date that we can at least kind of reference. So hopefully it sticks true to that.
Yep. Now we have a target for our disappointment. Hopefully it does stick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now my problem is I'll get Fury, and I'll get him at 5-star. He's just gonna sit like level 1 forever.
Oh man, you gotta get him up.
Why my other shield aren't geared up or
Gear
ranked
him
up? Okay, yeah. Let me dig into my wallet here and pull out my gold.
This is why I'm dirt poor and everything else, because I invested everything I had. I saved up and invested everything I had in shield, and I don't regret it one bit.
Okay, so here's my shield. Okay, hold on, because I actually have my minions are a save squad. Let me just jump into Blitz because it's the quickest way to get there. My shield team is currently 50,000 power.
Okay.
Operative and Trooper are the two strongest. Troopers at 16k and Operatives at 12k. I want to say Trooper is most likely the only one that's like geared whatever, because I hate him so much when I fight him.
Yeah, I actually don't even because I don't have a Trooper in my raid team. I he's very low. Like, even though I do run them in arena, I don't use him, and I do very well. I just don't have enough extra gold to put into him whenever I already have my shield team at a very good spot, and I have other things to invest in.
Yeah, none of them are over level 50. In fact, Trooper's the only one at level 50. The rest are, let's see, Operatives 45, Medic, Security, and Assault are all 40.
Well, if I had to recommend something, I would definitely say stop whatever you're doing right now and get ready to invest in them, because I still think there's nothing that gets you through this game better than Shield.
Or not, because I've already beat Defend the Darkness twice.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still great for raids. Like, they're fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I have defenders up at a very high level as well. But still, Shield reigns supreme in my mind.
Yeah. Except
and they're much lower, too. Like, I still have a good ways to go on them, and they still do better than my defenders, I would say. My defenders are, like, 215.
Yeah, so you're right around where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And besides, you still got aim.
I do have aim. I've got aim to work on. I got distracted by Kree. I feel a little dirty.
You got to get ready for that MODOK release.
I got to get back to aim, man. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was almost hoping it was aim monstrosity. I wish he'd have picked aim monstrosity. That would have been the perfect troll for Widowmaker.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been upset if he trolled, honestly. Like that, even though it's a slap to the face to a lot of competitive people. Like even whenever I was very competitive and I was spending, I still wouldn't have minded that. A good troll is a good troll.
A good troll is a good troll.
I would have been like, okay, golf clap.
Yep.
You win. You deserve it.
Why do you think I called out the person who said, "What's the one thing you would change about the show?" Dorian's voice. I need mean tweets. I really do need to read mean tweets.
Yeah. That's something we were discussing, by the way. If we might do a mean tweets episode if we get enough stuff for it. No one says anything
enough
bad
stuff.
about me,
We'll do mean
perfect.
tweets. That might be a patron only. That might be a patron only perk. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
But as I was saying, we expected Fury to come back. It got pushed. It looks like it got pushed again. But we are getting an Iron Man back. So where are you at for your Iron Man?
Where am I at for my Iron Man?
Yeah. Do you have Iron Man at 7-star already?
No, he's at 6-star, and I won't have him at 7-star whenever he comes back.
How close are you?
How close am I?
Yeah.
A good ways off. I have my shield. Hold on. I think I have only 2 shield members at 7-star. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. So, yep. I have 2 shield members at 7-star.
Captain Quake.
Three. I have Captain, Quake, Shield Security.
I have Captain Quake. Why did the screen? My phone didn't just die. Okay, so I have I have Captain Quake. I have, and that's it. But my Shield Security is at 204 of 300. My Trooper's at 132 of 300, and Hawkeye's at 169 of 300.
Oh, okay, so you're getting fairly close. It's just he's not someone that I focus on right now.
No, nor should you. I mean, honestly, for newer players, he's great, but he's probably the most lackluster of all the legendaries. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, that's kind of another little bonus, I guess, of going for Nick Fury, is that you get an Iron Man along with it. So, yeah, that's not a bad bonus.
No, that's really not.
It's probably the best thing because you get a Kree team out of it, you get the Shield team, and then you also get an Iron Man, which the Iron Man's more just a bonus compared to the Kree team, but like you do get a lot of stuff surrounding the whole Nick Fury situation now as opposed to before.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I need to test? I need to get my Scientist Supreme up a little higher.
Oh god. Thought it was going to be something insightful.
It is insightful. Think about it. What's like the number one team in the meta right now? Brotherhood.
Yep. Do you want to just flip all those
buffs?
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, she's very slow, but
She is really
you
slow.
know that's the only. Actually, I think I mentioned that in the last. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't mention that. But either way, yeah, I agree with that. That's the only reason why I would ever see her as viable in the tiniest bit is for super heavy debuff teams that come all at once. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't invest in it.
Why not? Are you not
But
forward
that's me, but-
thinking?
Go ahead.
Are
What'd
you
say?
not forward thinking?
I'm not forward thinking.
Are you not
I
preparing
am-
for the next meta? It's not the
I'm
next
not.
meta. It's the
I should be because I should have learned from Fury originally, but no, I'm at a constant state of catching up. That's what I feel like. I'm always just trying to catch up with what's going on.
Yeah. Well, that is the curse of the free to play player.
Yep.
You're always a dollar late.
Even when I was spending though, I still felt like I was it's because I wasn't spending enough.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, that is our dev blog for the week. Hebrew, was there anything you wanted to discuss that we left out? Did we leave anything out?
No, I think we nailed pretty much everything. Yeah, I think we're good on that.
Yeah. Hey, we're squeaking in under 2.5, and you're probably gotta have at least 5 or 10 minutes you're gonna be able to cut out of this.
Yeah,
So, not
probably
horrible.
maybe even a little more.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll have to see. But before we go, Hebrew, why don't you let everybody know who you're farming?
So I am farming my shield up now. Now that I have all of my Kree, well, I've had them at 6 stars, but I'm still kind of gearing them up a little bit. But I've got them at a good place gear-wise, so I switched over to farming up more of my shield team because I want to get them to 7-star ASAP for Nick Fury, so I can have a God Nick Fury team. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. What about you?
So I just want to weep and why I don't care about double drops. So I got, I think I mentioned, I got Punisher to 7 stars this week.
Yeah.
So that leaves Iron Fist as my only defender that's not at 7 stars. So he's a farm, Groot's a farm, because I hit so many red stars on the Guardians. Wasp is a daily farm. She's a daily farm because she's one of my favorite characters, and she's on a villain's node, so she gets me that villain daily completion.
Yeah.
By the way, the reason why I was sad, I don't know if I mentioned, I just did my Iron Fist for the day, refreshed the node, did it again. I get 0 shards out of 10. It feels bad, man. So
Yeah.
and obviously Kree. So working heavily on the Kree. I got Royal Guard to 7 yesterday. Oracle 7, Ronin 7. And so Cyborg, I'm working Cyborg and Noble primarily because at the end of the day, when I have to pick somebody to drop out, Reaper's going to be the one to leave out.
Right.
And probably Oracle when Minerva finally gets up to a usable level. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided what the better team comp is. I know a lot of people run Thanos. I got to look into that a bit more because I tried it with Thanos and I wasn't super thrilled. Because even though he does give out energy, he wasn't healing. So the mechanics seemed really weird, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense.
Yeah, and gear. Man, I'm back on that gear farm heavy.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So man, it's getting late. It's almost 1:00.
Oh God.
So before we sign off for the night, Hebrew, was there anything you wanted to say?
Just a general thank you to all of our patrons. We always really appreciate it. Everyone that's stayed on, especially since the beginning. We really always appreciate it. And for those of you that are listening, I try to get out the episode just because we had some comments on it on the feedback section of the poll. I try to get the episodes out as quick as I can, but I have a lot of stuff going on. Namely, school is always the biggest deterrent from doing so. But as Dorian mentioned earlier, we do always release the show almost immediately afterwards, and it has everything that you could ever possibly want, all the goodness that we have to take out sometimes because people think it's too long otherwise and yell at us. But
or what Hebrew feels is fluff. I mean, let's be honest. Hebrew takes out a lot of stuff that he considers fluff.
Let's not say that I just consider it fluff. I mean, some of it is totally unrelated to anything MSF ever. So
yeah, but people aren't just here for MSF, man. They're here for us, and you're denying them the us.
Well, they get the us if they pay for the us.
So hey, another patron perk, more us.
Exactly, more us. That's either a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if we should be pushing that out there. But yeah, either way, you know, we really appreciate you even just listening, not even necessarily just the patrons, but yeah, we really appreciate everyone that comes in, listens live, supports us, anything like that. It's always fun. So yeah, just make sure you join us on Discord and everything like that. We always appreciate likes, shares, and reviews even on iTunes. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's one thing I've not been mentioning, and that's something that I need to start adding to the outro, guys. If you could, especially iTunes, it helps us climb the charts and helps us get more visibility. Rate and review. Obviously leave us a good review. If you want to leave us a bad review, please do so, but let us know so we can talk to you, correct the problem if there is one, see what's going on. We don't want bad reviews. We do this for us, but we do it for you too.
Yeah, we actually had someone who had given us a bad review previously and actually had let us know in other ways, like through Reddit and stuff like that. And he had a problem with a particular thing or two that we were doing, and we had actually addressed it. It was a good suggestion. It was something that we needed to pay attention to, and he went back and he changed his review.
Yeah. So you can go back and change reviews too if you give us a low review.
Yeah.
So we do want to thank you for listening to the Ravager Report. As we've mentioned many times, if you want to, I'm out of line here. Oh, my outro, man. I can. You can edit this if you want. It's kind of an outtake, but
yeah.
If you'd like to become a part of our active and interactive community, you can do so at our Discord channel at discord.me/Ravager Report. Just remember that is a URL, that is not a Discord invite. If you'd like to send us an email, you can email us at theravagerreport@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at RavagerRepo. If you do like what you hear and want to support our show, you can join our patrons at patreon.com/Ravager Report, where we have subscription levels ranging from $2 to $20. Again, we want to send a great big shout out to all of our patrons. We appreciate everything that you do for us, and we hope you appreciate everything that we do for you. Until next week, keep fighting for your believers.